What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the Goofy Investing channel, where we talk about investing in the stock market. In this video, we're going to be talking about Nvts and upcoming earnings, different price action scenarios based on different outcomes that happen with the upcoming earnings, what I'm doing, how I feel and think about Nvts as an investment, and the moves that I'm planning on making, depending on whatever happens. Okay. So Navitas Semiconductors, all right, they have earnings coming up November 5th, all right, post-market. Now, if you've been following along, I'll give you a quick recap on some thesis updates on actual stuff that's happening with the company. The CFO has decided to resign and to be replaced temporarily, incumbently, with another CFO that is just temporarily fulfilling the job while they're looking for another one. Secretly, I kind of want that temporary, that serving incumbent to just promote into that position after looking at his resume. But whatever, it's up to the management on what they want to decide. So, with the upcoming earnings, price action, and such. All right, let's talk about it. All right, let's talk about this stock price action. And remember, before I get started, the price is what you pay and the value is what you get. All right. This channel is based on these valuation premises at different angles that we look at in the stock market. But with that being said, let's talk about different outcomes and scenarios that can affect the stock price going down or up and so forth. All right. So on a valuation basis, I think we're trading pretty cheap. Now, what is cheap relative to stock market, or what is cheap relative to Wall Street and how they think? Well, Wall Street is concerned about short-term earnings and EPS and growth. All right, they usually go maybe a quarter, maybe two out. All right, they think about the present and the next earnings. All right, that's pretty much short-term thinking. Me, I'm thinking about several years out, building a position. And typically when I build my positions, I build it, if it's 2025 and I'm building a position, I'm building that position in that particular equity for the performance to start next year in 2026. That's kind of the gauge, the thought process of how I do things as an investor. All right. So, with the transition of this CFO, if we see postponed earnings due to the financial statements, etc., with the transition of the CFO and the variance of, if they report late, this stock can take a hit. All right. Have we bottomed? I don't know. Can you time it? You can generally time it-ish, but nobody can really time the bottom. Nobody knows how much the bottom is. All right. Can this stock go into the ones? Yes, it can. If we get short-term variance based on delayed earnings, if we lose momentum based on more Fed lags to affect their earnings growth, this can see contraction into the ones. We'll go down here on Seeking Alpha. We'll go to earnings and earnings estimates. All right. Right now, analyst consensus estimates got them earning 12.91% this year. Is that accurate? Maybe, maybe not. The key is going to be on the company's guidance when it comes to their next earnings call. If they slash guidance, if they say that this growth is going to be more contracted due to Fed lags, this stock can go into the ones easily. Okay. Now, let's pull up my position and let's talk strategy and what it is to be an investor. Okay. Here's my whole portfolio here, because this channel is about transparency, right? So Nvts. Currently, I have 2,415 shares and change. Cost basis is $2.98. We're down 15% on the actual position itself. The weighting of it is 5.89%. So how do I view this? All right, and what would I do if the stock went down? All right. So typically, when I'm building a position in my portfolio, I go to 10 G's invested capital, capped off at the nearest 100th share, and then I just reassess. Typically, I say, you know what? I'm happy with the position. I'm not happy. I want more. I make those determinations as I go along. All right. So let's say this stock gets crushed. All right. Let's say we're down, I don't know, 50%. This thing's in the ones. We're seeing contractions from the Fed lags. Maybe delayed earnings and a report due to the CFO changeovers. What would I do as a long-term growth investor? Well, I tell you what, I'm going to keep buying the freaking stock. So with their patents kicking in, with their new customer pipelines coming in in the first half and second half of next year, this we're going to experience reaccelerated growth, patent legal protection to create more moat in the business, um, and so forth. With the reacceleration of growth, this stock will start flying back. All right. This is high risk, high reward stuff. This is one of these smaller micro cap companies that I specialize in. All right. If we see contraction into the ones, I'm probably going to get this up to 20,000 invested capital, and I'm going to keep lowering cost basis, increasing ownership. If they need another year to actually get everything all fixed up, that's fine. I'm just going to use that whole year to keep buying the stock. Now, will I start buying it heavy as much as I have been? Maybe, maybe not. It depends. All right. I have Upwork to look at with this position that I need to build out to 10 G's invested capital. I got to close out these Crocs covered calls because I'm bearish on these covered calls. I think Crocs is going to start running up in Q4. I'm projecting a bunch of free cash flows to hit this equity. So I got to close out these covered calls. Nvts, I think the range window of buying is going to be more widened depending on these earnings coming up. And it is possible they report earnings and they guide the reaccelerated revenue growth and the stock starts flying again. Okay. That is an actual possibility. Me, what do I want? I want them to reaffirm guidance. Let's say that they report the later earnings because they need the financial statements to be more QAQC'd, and the stock takes a hit. Well, I'm gonna want to buy there too, but typically the safe play is to wait until they report earnings and reassess. If they report more contraction in revenue growth and the stock takes a hit, I'm viewing that as more of a buying opportunity because I'm a long-term investor. I'd like to get 15, 20,000 invested capital capped off at the nearest 100th on the share count. And, if I get a longer buying horizon, so be it. I'm all for it. Okay. So stay tuned. Stay tuned within my channel. If you haven't subscribed, thumbs up, consider subscribing. If you want to follow along with this equity that I continue to cover, consider joining my Patreon, Looney Syndicate. Be with like-minded investors. Okay. If you're joining this channel, a lot of these investors in my Patreon, they like these small cap growth companies just like I do, and get mentorship. All right, get mentorship. You get access to the hidden gem collection, instructionals. I got different products on there that you'll gain in perpetuity, and I'm always adding and so forth. All right. With that being said, thank you for your time, and have a good one till the next time.